2024 Ripid Events Olympic Distance Fort Ritchie. Let's dive into some of the details. First up, as we make our way and scroll down the page here, a couple of key things. First one, race day info. Make sure you click that link for all of your important race day things like check-in, how the course is going to kind of break down, and just kind of an order of operations when you can check in. There is race day check-in, by the way, and a load of your questions are going to get answered there. Scrolling down, let's dive into the course here. This is our swim course over here. The transition area is located right there, and let's change that color so we are not getting super duper confused here. So transition area is located right here. You are going to have a bit of a walk to swim start, so make sure you plan on that. But again, it's not super far. This whole kind of event venue kind of fits in a really, really small area, which is nice. The swim start, it is going to be an in-water start. You're going to enter the water 3 minutes before your event, your waves start, as referenced by the link I told you to read earlier, so make sure you do read that. Then you are going to swim 2 loops, because we are doing the Olympic, around our swim area here. Start the second loop and you do it all over again. The finish is located as you come in right out here, and then you have a quick little jog towards the transition area there. And then the bike out comes over there. So swim, let's talk about it really, really quickly. It's pretty straightforward. It is a 2-loop area or 2-loop course. Obvious thing to watch out for is the dock that is located right here when you're coming back for our second loop. Be very, very careful there. It's very common for athletes to just go over there and then have to jut out again. Just waste a time waster, which you never want to do in an Olympic. Second thing, on our swim start, it's going to be a mad dash from the in-water start area to that first buoy right there. Afterwards, it is going to continue hot all the way down, no matter what wave you're in, and people are just going to be jostling for position. If it is not a wetsuit swim, be very careful. If it is a wetsuit swim, it's probably going to be on the cusp of wetsuit, so you also likely need to be very, very mindful of that. If you are in a wetsuit and it is approaching the hotter ranges of that wetsuit temperature, you want to just tail people on this whole section over here so you don't overheat. If it is a non-wetsuit swim, water's going to be hot. You can't really go all out as much as you want to on this stretch right here. So again, the main goal should let other people to do the work for you, and don't let any of the main groups escape. So if you have a couple of competitors that you know you're going to be around, make sure you don't let them escape on that long stretch over here. This stretch right here is the ideal place to kind of put some distance on people. 2 quick turns, and again, they're 90-degree turns, maybe a little tighter. Don't overthink them. Turn, start swimming. You might run into some issues with sighting here with the sun. But again, you might not, depending on what the weather is doing out there on race day. As you turn around this buoy, this is a critical buoy out here on the swim, and this is just the first loop, so keep that in mind. This stretch is going to be our go area, our time to kind of find our pace, maybe slightly faster. If someone is slowly going away from you in the water, this is the time for you to maximize your race right here and just stay on that person's feet. All right, that's a perfect scenario. If there's no one to draft, just find your rhythm just slightly above it, just slightly there. It's an Olympic. It's not going to feel great, but the trick is to kind of arrive out of the swim and not overcooked, not on your way to heat exhaustion here. Starting our second loop, again, another great opportunity to really exploit these turns to jump some easy places right there. If you have a really strong swimmer in front of you who's navigating these turns well, just keep on them, just stay on them, and you will have to minimize the sighting as well because you're following this stronger swimmer. Long stretch over here. This is our trap. This is our first trap of the day, and it's coming on the same straightaway that we talked about at the very, very start of our swim. A common area for athletes to really put the hammer down. Hammer time was kind of here. All right, this stretch right here, you just have to swim your pace, and again, the pace is going to be high, but if you go, say you're going 105% out over here, for your Olympic pace, that's not ideal here. All right, your pace is all the way around here towards that swim exit. Once you hit this turn buoy right here, you got to start thinking about kicking your feet, getting the blood back into your legs, and maybe even at this buoy, out on course. Just start thinking about kicking those legs just a tiny bit faster. Maintain that arm speed. That's a huge, huge trap. Another one, last one for this course, is the sighting. As athletes get closer and closer to this swim finish, a lot of athletes start to increase their sighting pattern more and more and more. Don't do that. Just maintain your sight pattern, and off we go to the bike. So diving over, this is their if I could speak, that'd be great. This is their bike course map over here. This is one that we have created for you. Here we go. This is one that we have created for you. It is 23.2-ish miles, right? About 1,600 feet of elevation gain. So no throwaway course indeed. Couple of things that you need to be aware of here are at the very beginning, believe it or not. So this is a hill right at the beginning. This is going to be something unique to this course. This is going to be an opportunity for you to kind of start the bike always the way you want it to, hard. And that's because we do have a nice long downhill stretch over here. So this first part needs to be hard. It needs to be a little bit harder than you normally would go out. Again, you're not going Tour de France style up this hill right here, but you are still going hard nonetheless, and your kind of recovery is going to happen from the swim at this point, just a little bit later. All right, we do have a downhill here, so this downhill section does last for a long time here in the grand scheme of Olympic races. Let's talk about 5.5 miles. We do have negative 888 feet of elevation loss out there. So again, a highly, highly, highly important area on the course. This is going to be a part of the course where aero becomes very, very important. And you need to be aware of that. It's also a little bit unfortunate because it's coming right at the beginning of your day. So this is an opportunity for you to go fast, very, very fast at the start of this race for a long portion. This ends at about 6.5, 7 miles where things start really evening out. And some of these downhill grades are very aggressive here. So think over 4%. So you do have the ability to go faster, and the road just slightly veers here. So with that, you're going to have a lot of people kind of clogging up the road. You're going to have a lot of people thinking they are leading the tour or just in their own little world out here. So don't be afraid to get aggressive with your voice, get loud, tell someone you're coming. And when you are about to pass someone, I always recommend it, but this is going to be highly important for this stretch of road for this first 10 miles. Make sure you just look behind you every once in a while because you don't want to crash into the silent passer. All right. Moving along over here for the next little valley stretch over here. This is another big, 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 big important section of our race. It's a flatter section here, and the idea that you need to be mindful of, right, is if you're doing power, you just steadily increase it for the rest of the way. All right. So you start hard, you get a little bit of recovery, and then you just slowly turn the screws. If you're looking for where you can kind of save some time, this valley is a great place to do it. Aero, again, is going to be very, very important over here. And as you get later into the race, aero is going to become less and less important. We're talking 6% over here, a lot over 2%. But even still, as we go over the big hill right here, a lot of this stuff is under 3%. So you might be able to get into the aero position at various points in time here, depending on how strong you are on the way back as well. But it does become less and less critical and just becomes more and more important about maintaining that high power output for the run, which we will discuss in a second. So these are our climbs registered out on course over here. This athlete is scheduled to do the race in about an hour and 15 minutes. So if you are a little bit stronger, these times are going to be a little bit slower. If you are a little bit slower, obviously they're going to be a little bit higher for you here. So we have about 8 categorized climbs out on course. And again, these are broken up and it does kind of not register always. First one, critical one. This starts 0.2 miles into the race. It's going to take this person about 6 minutes to do it, and their power is going to be about 225 watts for an average 6.7% grade. Scrolling up here, I can give you a good sense of where that is right here. Right. So again, you're going to be able to start this race just like you've always wanted to, which is very, very fun. Power. Let's take away some of this speed, some of this elevation, so you can really get a sense of it, and it really tells the tale that I just told you. Uh, Power starting off high, and then it just kind of gets low, and then it steadily increases the entire way, pretty much until you get home, until the last mile or two. The weather. Weather is also going to kind of aid in how you want to do this race because you're going to experience a headwind on the way out. And if you watch the power plan, watch watch the rider on the bottom right here. As we start to go over, we're going to be experiencing cross headwinds. As we turn, that's going to turn into a headwind, and then it's going to get mixed around while we go around the circle here. We're going to get a tail crosswind right through here, and we will experience one of our last headwinds at this point in time because it will switch over here before we hit the turnaround, which is going to be in your face again. And then once we turn around for the last time and we head home, that wind stays behind us for the majority of the difficult stretches before turning to our face when we turn into the transition area. All right, it's going to be about 7 to 10 miles an hour as is usual. If there's something crazy that happens out there, obviously it's going to be a little bit different, but this is just typical conditions out there on race day. So, to summarize really, really quickly, when we start out, we're starting off with power high. We're recovering, aero becomes a priority. During this stretch right through here, aero is still very, very important, and as we start to increase, that power starts to go up again. Once we go up these hills over here, the main hill, our power production should increase again, obviously just because we're going up a hill. All right, and then the last section right through here, a little bit of recovery over here, but I would encourage you to keep the effort or to keep the tension on the chain because that's another place where you can easily catch some competitors there. If we scroll back to the map that they have provided, I do not see any water aid stations. Again, read the athlete guide for more info on that. The run. This is our run course. When we scroll up to the map out on course, this is our run course with a water station right here. Turnaround point is happening over here. When you start out, you are making your way around the lake in a clockwise fashion. You're going to the turnaround, back down, back to where you start. The Olympic has a 4-loop run course, so this is a tight course. For frame of reference, this is our course over here, and we'll put it on satellite so you can really get a sense for it. The transition area is going to be located here. This is our swim area right through here, and this is our course. Now, the reason I have it on satellite mode for you is so you can really see the amount of shade that you're going to get out here. You're going to get it in a couple of places, primarily out here on course. You're going to get it at these trees over here, and potentially again right through this section over here, but it's not going to last very long. You're kind of in a car park back here, and that is what it is. So elevation wise, we got about 180 feet of elevation gain out here, so nothing major, nothing crazy, but obviously the bike that we did preceding this is going to impact us major ways. If it is hot, you need to be bringing an extra bottle of something to cool yourself off or fuel with or whatever, right? And that's kind of on an individual basis there. But you need to be bringing something. Keeping that core temperature down is going to be essential. It is typically a hotter race, so prioritizing some of that is going to be very, very beneficial. Maybe you leave something in the transition area. Do something to just cool yourself off. Bring ice. Do something. Back to our run. It is largely going to be dictated by what happened on the bike. There are a couple of great areas for us, and if we zoom in right here, this is the bottom of the lake below where we swam. As we scroll up this slight hill over here, it does increase to about 2-3% over there, so it's not a crazy hill, and it doesn't last for very long, and it is also one that gets harder as you get up it before it starts leveling off there for our out and back stretch right here. Because it is a 4-loop course, you have a ton of opportunities to see how you're going, to see how you're doing. And what I mean by that is you can start a timer here, right, every single lap and say, all right, it took me X amount of time to go from here to here? How long did it take me to get from the turnaround and back? If it is a minute slower, you know something's up. You know you're dropping. Fix it. All right. Refuel, get some liquids, get some hydration, get some calories, electrolytes, whatever it is you think you need. Get it and do it as fast as possible, because the sooner you do it, the sooner it is going to get fixed for your race. It's not going to happen right away, but it might happen a lap or two later, and that I would rather that be the case than just steadily getting worse throughout the run. Okay? Because it is 4 loops, it can get very demoralizing out there, and it's not always happy-go-lucky times back there. So stay mentally strong back here, and that is how your race is going to be won. Okay? Be very careful on the bike. I want you guys to have fun. I want you guys to totally have fun here, and this is going to be a course that really allows you to do so, especially with the wind going this way on race day. Um, it's it's going to be fun. It's going to be hot. Okay? Be prepared. Have a blast. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'll be happy to answer it. If you see anything that I got wrong, let me know. If you want some coaching help or need coaching assistance, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to kind of guide you through that as well. And good luck, everybody, for 2024 Fort Ritchie Olympic Distance Tri.